Welcome to the Mike Frederick Show. I'm Sean Lerman. This show presented by 1490 WBCB and ARIA Health. I'm here with head coach of the Neshaminy Redskins, Mike Frederick. Coach, you guys fell to CB South this past week. It was a pretty close game for a while there, but their running back, Josh Adams, just is really a special ball player.
Yeah, he sure is. He's very talented. He's big, he's strong, and he's fast. I mean, when he breaks out into the open field, it's lights out. We knew we were going to have to contain him. We knew that one guy wasn't going to bring him down. That's sort of the mantra of the week was that we were going to hopefully have DeAndre outrush him. We thought that would give us a real chance to win the football game, controlling the ball, keeping him off the field. And I think DeAndre did a real nice job. The offense was clicking, they were blocking downfield, and we were close. I mean, they rushed for about the same. Our biggest hurdle we have to get over is getting off the field on 3rd and 4th down.
As far as defensively going after Adams last week, I talked to Bruce Graber a bit, and he said you guys were able to get some hits on him, but he's tough to bring down. How did you feel about the way all the schemes came together in terms of getting hits on him in the backfield?
Yeah, I mean, I was pleased that we got in. I think they had 20, 3rd, and 4th down situations. If we could have won on 50% of those, I think we got a really good chance to win the football game. If we could win on 25% of them, they would have come down to the wire. As it turned out, we really struggled. They converted the majority of their 3rd downs. The few stops that we had, they then came back and converted on 4th down. On one 3rd down stop, they kicked a field goal, and then on another 3rd down stop, that was the end of the game. And that's been a problem we've had. I mean, we've been sort of I've heard some of our coaches talk about it, a Jekyll and Hyde team where we have 30 plays that are a yard or less, and 10 plays that are 15 or more, and we got to eliminate those plays that are 15 or more yards that get teams out of the hole we can get them in, and we're really emphasizing that heading forward.
Sticking with the defense here in the secondary, it seemed like Jack Spingler had a pretty good game back there. He's starting to come along as a defensive player.
He is. Jack's not afraid to hit you, and I think that's why he's been able to earn some playing time there and hang on to it, and if not, just increase his playing time. He'll come up and stick you, and certainly from the corner position, it's a really nice thing to have. And what we have is, right, when you have your corners and your safeties making plays, that's not ideal. But if you have somebody like Jack who's going to get the guy on the ground, it gives you a chance to line up again the next play and hopefully put your guys in a little bit better position to try to get off the field. So we're pleased with Jack's progress. I think he's got a good upside to him. I think he's sort of light is flickering on. We needed to stay on and just grow brighter.
J.R. Stevens, another defensive back for you guys, also has played pretty well at wide receiver. How do you balance keeping him fresh on both sides of the ball?
Well, it's a difficult task for not just J.R. but for a number of our players. We have 5, 6 guys that are playing on both sides of the football, and we need to try to balance that. And sometimes we get it right, sometimes we don't. We tend to try to rest a guy like JR on the offensive side because I think we have more depth with Treadway and Denzel. We can go 4 wide receiver personnel grouping where we can go to JR and Jack, a Trevor Lay and a Jordan Collins can come in at that 4th wideout. So it's easier to spell them on offense. With a Denzel, it's a little bit more difficult. Again, you end up spelling them on offense, and in turn, what we had to do was we had to really emphasize DeAndre more on the offensive side of the ball. So early in the season, he was starting at both corner and safety, and luckily, some of the young guys have stepped up, taken the ability to get him off the field more, so he wasn't dragging quite as much. He never complained. He never said he was tired, but you can just see the last couple of weeks, just there's pop in his legs, and part of that is the fact that we had him out there for twice as many reps as he is used to having.
Yeah, you mentioned DeAndre Pollard. He has looked a lot better the last few weeks, putting up a lot of yards on the ground, getting into the end zone. Do you think that that's the main reason, just getting off the defensive side of the ball, or are there any other contributing factors?
No, I don't think it's the main reason. I think the main reason is the inexperienced offensive lines come together. I think every week we have one senior out there, Tyler Irwin, who's played solid for us, but he's not played a lot of football. And then you put together the fact that there was one returning starter, Hunter Kelly, and we started the season with Hunter at center. So it's really each week is another week where this group can play together. The calls come more steadily. The looks that they get are becoming second nature. Coach Wilmot's done a really nice job blending them and getting them ready to play. And DeAndre is starting to trust them more and more. The holes, where they're supposed to be are now starting to be there. And that's hard for, the Pennsylvania State Player of the Year to go from a senior-dominated line with Hunter Kelly, right, to an underclass-dominated line, with one senior who's starting in his first year. So he's handled it really well. He's been supportive. He's been patient. And I think the rewards are we're starting to see them, and they're paying off. And again, DeAndre is he's not a leader vocally, but he's saying all the right things. He's doing everything you would want him to do as a coach, which is encourage those guys and not point fingers. And you could see it's coming together. Just in a way you wish you had a little bit more time. But that's what happens with with new guys in there. And we got to keep it rolling. We got to keep him. He's excited. He's hitting some holes, but he would give all that up for some wins. That's for sure.
Now, Zach Treadway, it's hard to say this was a breakout game because he has played well all season long, but he had a really big game against CB South, a nice touchdown catch in the corner of the end zone, and some big catches on third downs as well.
Zach's had a real good year at receiver. I mean, when we came into the season, he was running at third wideout. He is really starting. He and Denzel are the starters at receiver now. JR comes in the three personnel groupings. And part of that is we needed to get JR some rest, but it was also the elevation of Zach's game. You trust him fully. If it's thrown his way, he's going to catch it. He makes the difficult catch. He made a catch on our sideline where he stretched out and brought the ball in. Huge plays, keep drives going, third down catches. His effort is, when you go back through and you watch the tape, he's always full speed. Tremendous team player, real nice skill set for what we're trying to do, and again, just getting better and better and better. It'll thicken out over the next couple of years. That's your big fear with him is he's thin, he's light, but he doesn't take many direct shots. So, that's a testament to the fact that he gets open and he gets out in space and he catches the ball. He's done a real nice job.
One thing I noticed with Zach is he's always catching the ball away from his body. He's not letting it get to his chest.
He's got great technique. Coach Ennis and I've heard him talk to the receivers all the time about when they turn, having their hands up and ready. When they get in trouble is when their hands are down and they have to try to bring them up quickly. His hands are always out in front. Soft hands, people talk about, meaning when the ball hits the hands, it's he's got a nice feel for bringing the ball in, and it's not like they're the ball's coming in and hitting a couple of bricks, which makes it difficult to catch the football. He does a lot of the intangibles very, very well.
We'll step aside, take a quick break. When we come back, we will preview the Chamonix's upcoming game against Souderton. This is the Mike Frederick Show, presented by Aria Health.
The ARIA 3B Orthopedic Institute is redefining care in Center City and South Jersey. And our 50,000 square foot location on ARIA Health's Bucks campus in Langhorne features private rooms, free parking, and nearby hotels. With over a century of experience, the world-class 3Bs, Doctors Booth, Bartolozzi, Balderston, and their partners personally guide you from treatment through recovery. For all your orthopedic needs, call 1-888-ORTHO-3B or visit aria3bortho.org. At the ARIA 3B Orthopedic Institute, you come first.
If you are looking for a car, where do you go? Faulkner Auto Group at 4427 Street Road in Trevose is where to go for the best deals in Bucks County for all your new pre-owned cars, trucks, or SUVs. Go to Faulkner Auto Group. It's always Faulkner, to be sure. Go online to faulknerautogroup.com. Just remember, it's Faulkner, to be sure, for all your new cars or trucks. 4427 Street Road in Trevose. Faulkner, to be sure.
Welcome Welcome back to the Mike Frederick Show, presented by 1490 WBCB and Aria Health. I'm Sean Lerman, along with head coach of the Neshaminy Redskins, Mike Frederick. Coach, as we look ahead to next week, you guys are traveling to Souderton. A bit of a hike, but a pretty nice new field there. You looking forward to the game?
You bet. You can't wait to get back out there. That's one of the things after a loss. One of the hardest things for coaches and players is to wait to get back out and get another shot at it. Great environment. Our guys have been up there, I think, 4 times over the last 3 years or so. I've heard about the field, have not seen it, but understand that they are going to come out. They're going to play us hard and tough. They always do. It's sort of the history of the way they play the game. Tough, physical. We're really looking forward to it.
What kind of things do they like to do offensively that you'll be keying in on?
Well, they're going to run the wing tee on offense. They have a couple of variations on plays we have not seen in the past, but very similar to what a Downingtown West. We've seen this now. This would be the 3rd time in a real game and a scrimmage situation where we'll be facing the wing tee. So each game that we've played against the wing tee, become more familiar with your fits, your reads. The half-to-half plays, or halfback hands to another halfback, all sorts of just what are Delaware wing tee standard plays. Now, that being said, they can come out and they can tweak it a little differently. They do run a couple of plays that, are unique to them. But obviously our defense is looking forward to the challenge. It was basically Downingtown West and Penridge. And we haven't handled the wing tee yet, so this is another opportunity.
And what about their passing game? What do you see out of that?
Their quarterback's a solid player. They've got a couple of good skilled receivers. They'll like the hitch out of that. They've opened some games. They opened one of the games with a double reverse flea flicker. They will take a shot over the top. Once or twice, and things like waggle and flood out of the wing tee are pretty consistent plays, again, that we saw at Penridge, and Penridge had some success with it, and it's hard because of all the misdirection. You end up wanting to get up there and stuff the run. I would say that our primary objective is to get in there, right, stop the running game, and make them beat us throwing the football. So
with having to stop that running game, who would you say, as far as your defense, is a key player in this game for you guys?
Yeah, there's 11 of them. No, there really is. Again, with the wing tee, with the midline option, like a Council Rock South runs, it's assignment football. So you have to have, it's just the way that this works. You got to have 8, 9 guys right on almost every play. And what will happen is if you're not taking the right assignment, you've got the full bag, you've got to kick this or get under that guard. They'll find those holes, these types of offenses, because they'll see it up top and they'll say, hey, they're not closing down on the, on the first back through, we got to run double dive or something like that. So it's a weird thing to say. I think up front, we're getting Bill Ritchie back. He's going to give us some reps on defense, maybe not a full workload for him, but he's a heck of a football player. It's going to help us be stout against the run. I think if the front 4 guys have a really nice day, can clean things up for our linebackers, that's what we're looking for. We're looking for a lot of aggression and playing our appropriate assignments to help guys like Kale and Dalton Fox out behind us. Because if we don't do that, they'll run guys clean to the linebacker, and that makes it real tough in a misdirection offense.
Switching things now to Souderton's defense, what do they come out as a base set?
Base set 3-4. Sort of, if people at home think about it, it's kind of the old, it's the Pittsburgh Steelers of the last 25, 30 years. 3-4 set at times. They've been in a running that predominantly this year against Neshaminy historically. Our coaches have, they gave me a heads up earlier in the week and heading into the weekend, said, hey, go back and watch a couple of our older games. They will vary that front versus us in particular. So we should see a 3-4 variation of the 3-4. They've shown some blitzes against Neshaminy historically that they haven't shown thus far this year, so we're preparing for that. They got some good football players, tough players. I think there's they probably emphasize a toughness of, of being where you're supposed to be and physically holding up. So a little bit different look than we've seen the last couple of weeks. We've been playing predominantly against the 4-3, 4-4 looks, so it's going to be a little bit different for the front. We have seen it earlier in the year, so it's not the first time you're going to go through and see a 3-4, and there are variations to that. They can drop, they can drop and reduce the front. They can set one of their linebackers back in the box against us, and they did that against the Chamonix last year. So our guys are going to have to be sharp. There's no doubt.
You mentioned Billy Ritchie coming back on the defensive side of the ball. Will we also see him on the offensive side?
Yes, sir. You bet you will. He came back last week limited to the offensive side of the ball. With the way that he injured the shoulder, we wanted to be real cautious with him. Felt like blocking at the tight end position was the way to get him started last week. He's got no limitations at this point. He is free to run routes, catch passes. Don't tell him I told you that. He is free to play defensive end, but we are going to be smart about it, right? We don't want to give him a full workload on both sides of the ball, and we got to be smart about what we're doing with Bill Ritchie, right? And Bill Ritchie's a good, heck of a football player. He's an important part of our team, and we're not going to sacrifice any kind of short-term goal for what he needs to accomplish to get through the rest of the year.
One last thing before we go. Every football team has kind of the class clown on the team. Who's the funny guy of the Chamonix Redskins? You can't say yourself, because I know you're kind of the humorous coach.
No, I'm not a funny guy. What's great is everybody laughs when they're not near the coaches. Right?
Okay.
So yeah, I think we've got a handful of them, but for some reason they haven't felt comfortable enough to show their hand. I heard there's some impressions. I'm aware. Some of my players have made it aware that my voice cracks when I tend to raise my voice, which is not often. But apparently they find that amusing. So we'll see. I've also been told at the end of the year there's some impressions of me running around that I'm anxiously looking forward to hearing.
Yeah, you don't get to hear those till the season's over.
Yeah,
Otherwise, there might
right.
be a few extra laps in practice.
You bet there will.
That'll do it for the Mike Frederick Show this week. Neshaminy taking on Souderton in Souderton. I've been Sean Lerman. He's head coach of the Neshaminy Redskins. Mike Frederick. Have a good one.